Hello, yes, I have been calling Subaru Sub-Uwu this entire time, and it's because I genuinely cannot say the name Subaru anymore. My mind just goes immediately to Sub-Uwu because...
There's a fucking Sub-Uwu!
Sub-Uwu! Also, Sub-Uwu is a simp, therefore Sub-Uwu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Subaru is actively one of the biggest simps in anime.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Sub-Uwu.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do see how Subaru can get on people's nerves, because Subaru is basically what happens if you take Brock, try to play him more straight, make it focused on only one woman, and then make him the main character.
That's a lot of changes to Brock. I don't know Brock that well to understand that.
Brock is probably the second biggest simp in anime.
I like Brock, though.
But he's a secondary character, and he doesn't linger on one woman, so it's more of a gag.
Yeah.
So let's go off with some recommendations, obviously. NikNak, what do you think somebody could watch if they liked this? Just, what would they like, do you think? Don't, really quickly before we get into that, I don't want to go off listing like 30 or 40 different things.
Yeah.
But like just genuine.
Okay. Off the top of my head, trying to keep things as genuinely close to this as possible without going into recommendations on other stuff this author has written. I would highly recommend, if you like this, even though I haven't seen it myself actually, from what I've heard, a lot, like if you like what they did with Subaru, a lot of the same kind of things are done in Mushoku Tensei with its main character, as far as growing him up in the world itself. Yeah, Sekhie made a face, and I knew she would.
I've seen Mushoku Tensei Season 1.
And she doesn't like it for very similar reasons.
I don't like it for very similar reasons. Which is ironic, because I actually like By the Grace of the Gods, which is just an Iyashikei version of Mushoku Tensei.
Honestly, we can get into this a little bit more once we've gone around and done our recommendations, but I would be curious, even if it's a Talk No Jutsu later, to have a talk about flawed main characters. Because I think that might be where we're differing here. Is I actively really enjoy flawed main characters.
Dude, I fuck with flawed main characters. It's just the flawed main character that I like.
What is your definition of a flawed main character?
Characters with issues.
I don't want characters with daddy issues. I want characters who you would probably hate if you met them as a person.
I like... okay, after we finish recommendations, do you have anything else?
Not without going and just recommending time travel stuff, but I don't think we need to.
Realm?
Pule Madoki Magica.
Puella?
Yeah, Puella. Sorry.
That was like some Beetlejuice.
Man,
Puella,
you said
Puella.
Poodle.
Piole.
No, he said Poodle. There was a D in there.
Poodle Madoka Magica.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, but yeah, no, seriously. Puella
Maggie Madoka Magica.
Yeah.
People who like their hearts ripped out.
Yes, exactly. If you want more sad boy shit, go watch that. I'm here for the depression and the character development.
I feel like you and I would read a lot of the same fan fiction. Because I love the angst tag. Like, angst and depression, that's my bread and butter. Fucking hurt comfort. Like, I want to cry.
Exactly. I want something to pull the tears out of me.
I want it to be 2 a.m. in the morning sobbing into my pillow.
I want to see...
snotting over how sad I am.
I want to see my characters get fucking... their shit pushed in.
Destroyed.
Yes.
Lauren, do you have any recommendations?
Erased has a way better ending.
Alright.
I genuinely don't have anything to suggest. I don't.
Your genre.
It's not. I don't like horror. I don't watch sad boy shit. Okay. I do watch sad boy shit, but I don't watch this kind of sad boy shit.
You're not a torture porn.
No, I'm not a torture.
Oh, bye.
No, look.
Yeah, you had to double take there for a second.
I am a woman who has lived through 2 years of quarantine now, between the ages of 20 and 22, right? If they're hot, I can stand just about anything. Like, there's, like, I realize that I am a hypocrite, but, like, I have like a angst, torture porn, depression, horror to, like, hotness of the main character scale, where there are certain levels of hotness that can, like, trump any dislike I have of certain other bits of a story. This does not fit there. It's centered on the main character, so there is a logical component to it, because if I really, really like a main character, I can deal with a lot of other things that I might not like.
I'd almost feel bad if I were watching a story with a character I liked in a torture porn.
I see, but I kind of like watching like my favorite characters have kind of like be broken down in a way that I can either understand or empathize with or see in a really compelling way on screen. But I also like to watch these characters get broken down. I like to watch them get built back up.
Oh, I
by the
enjoy
end.
that too. That's
So-
kind of ReZero right there. It's just
Yeah.
you don't like Subaru.
Yeah, I just don't like Subaru. That's the problem here, right? Because let's put it into perspective. I started watching Supernatural recently, right? And Supernatural is horror and sad boy shit, right? But I genuinely like the two main characters and like the story that I'm hearing through them, and it's because I can empathize with them in a lot of ways. So for me, I watch them and I'm like, I fucking understand.
There is one episode of ReZero, my favorite episode of ReZero, period, that I actively think would make you at least it would at least give you one more moment of huge empathy towards Subaru.
Yeah.
But obviously that's going to be a bit.
Yeah, so I don't genuinely, I do read a lot more things that are closer to horror and torture porn and like angst and that kind of thing, mostly because I read so fast and I consume so much content that I can't stick to just happier things because I'll run out of things to read. So in reading form, I do actually read a lot of stuff that's kind of on this level of depression or even worse, like sad boy shit. But once again, it's all about that final payoff for me of like the building back up or like the ending on like a high note and how much I empathize with a character. For me, if I don't like certain parts of the show, the only thing that's going to make it up for me is a main character that I love. A main character I love will overcome a lot of obstacles for me with the greater world of the show. Where areas, if I don't like the main character so much, the rest of the show has to make up for it. And it's easier for an entire show to make up for it on music, world building, side characters, and a bunch of other stuff to make up for a single main character than it is for a single main character to make up for kind of dropping the ball or not being my vibe in all these other areas. Like, it's unbalanced, and I understand that, but that's kind of my breakdown on either the main character, if I don't like something, the main character either has to make up for whatever I don't like, or whatever I like has to make up for whatever I don't like about the main character. If that makes sense, I don't know.
I think it makes a little too much sense to the point where I think you think it's a little bit more special than it is, what you're saying?
I don't think it is. I don't. I just, like, clarifying here, you know? Like, for example, if I didn't like Dean and Sam Winchester, I would hate Supernatural. It is not my vibe. It is fucking not. Like, genuinely. Actually, hell, Supernatural, if it didn't have Dean, I wouldn't like it. If it was centered on Sam as the only main character, I wouldn't like it. Because I need the interplay between those two characters to make their characterization worth it for me.
So what? I guess one more thing to just briefly go over before we get into the next part. So this was mentioned a lot by the characters in ReZero was sloth. And how I previously talked about sloth, they always called Subaru slothful in this arc.
They called everyone slothful.
I
wanted to check something on that.
They called everyone slothful. But basically, so this arc is, or the if version of this arc is what most people know, where Subaru and Rim run away together to a different country.
Yeah, they actually just fucking up and leave.
Yeah, they just fucking up and leave and just say, fuck Amelia, fuck her bullshit, we're going to live together.
Don't they have like 2 kids?
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah. So that one's what most people know from the if stories.
That's just because of Rem fans.
But yeah, Rem.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
mainly because Rem fans. Mainly because Rem fans.
All right, Sekhie, what you checking on here?
I remember I had it in my head. They kept talking about sloth, right? And I had it in my head. I was like, I need to look up like what the definition of sloth is as like a sin, because
Well, that's kind of the thing, is that
they take a... Well, no, because the problem for me was, right, they take a lot of liberties with the definition of sloth and the way they're defining it, and I understand that that's because Beetlejuice is a villain, and he's using it to justify everything he's doing. But he took so many liberties that, like, there came a point where I was just like, I need to look up the definition of sloth and just, like, see, because I know what sloth means, but he is taking a lot of liberties with that to the point where I almost felt like
he wasn't actually slothful.
Yeah, like...
Well, that's something Subaru directly calls out, is that he's being so slothful, he's no longer slothful.
Yeah, I just remember having that in my head, so I decided to look it up just now.
It's the idea of, if you're so lazy, you're going to be working even harder or doing even more.
Yeah. I had to look it up because I told myself I would, and I didn't do it last night.
Yeah, I think that was definitely on purpose.
I mean, they kept saying, it's slothful, she's slothful, you're slothful, he's slothful.
Well, that's just because Beetlejuice is fucking insane.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, once again, it was like 4 hours of slothful being like every 5th word.
Yeah.
There comes a time.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, though, at least in the slothful story, it's the one that does have a happy ending at the end of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't really get all the sins and shit, but it's more clear than it was last submission.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite moment of the entire submission was not Fern. What's her name? Thief Girl from last. Felt standing up in front of an assembly of noblemen and going, "I'm going to become the ruler of this country so I can tear down every part of this hierarchy, destroy the nobility.
Literally down with the bourgeoisie.
Literally eat the rich." I loved that.
Mother's Basement called her his anarchist wife.
Yeah, she is everything. She's like everything I wish I could express about like social hierarchy and like patriarchy and all that shit.
It's just that internal feeling of fuck it all.
No, and then fucking Reinhardt. The other night's talking to Reinhardt. "You have a spirited candidate." He's like, "Oh boy, do I!" Like Reinhardt, I hope you know what you're backing up at this point, cause oh lord.
Yeah.
Also, I did not know that Reinhardt was Van Estrea's grandson until you told me, and honestly, that just makes it better. I love the Van Estreas.
I think that's about it for ReZero. Do you want to pull for the next submission?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! Let's do this.
Let's
All
do
right, I
it.
got one more in there. I should get pulled and then never go again in the season.
That'd be a long gap without anything from you.
Well, it's going to be a long gap no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the most submissions left.
Rando.
You?
No,
Rando.
I have. Well, I mean, I technically have. I think I have.
You might be tied with Rando.
Yeah.
If you've been pulled more than once, Rando.
Yeah.
No, you've been pulled twice.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Because
Rando has the most.
Okay.
Rando has 4 left. You have 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, drum roll, please.
Sekhie? Realm?
Who is it? Oh, nice.
Oh,
What are we watching, Realm?
Pick a number, 1 through 5.
Oh,
6.
man.
There's no 6.
1.
All right, 1. Let's see here. I think
I was going to say 7, but okay.
Demon Slayer, 14 through 26.
Hell yeah! I actually wanted to rewatch that anyways before season 2.
Now.
Sekhie is gonna hate this arc.
Okay. So, I have the records of what we thought about Demon Slayer 1 through 13. How do we all feel about going into part 2 of Demon Slayer? Start with NikNak.
Oh, I've seen it. I fucking love this section.
Also seen it, loved it.
Vorn, what does this have to do to get up from a neutral?
I don't even remember it at this point, so it has to do something. I just don't know what at this point.
Last time your complaints were centered on you just didn't feel like the work was believable.
No, you didn't like the shonen aspects of it. He didn't like the training arc. He didn't like the shonen fight scenes.
Yeah.
You didn't like all the shonen parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, because I specifically remember that he was complaining about like how long the training arc took, and I was like, oh lord,
My dude, that is the fastest training arc in anime.
Yeah, I
honestly.
cannot wait until I show you Dragon Ball. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm going to yeet that off a cliff right there.
All right, Sekhie, what can destroy your approval here? Since you're the only one who has any chance of budging downwards.
I was gonna say I have an approval rating on this. So I really loved the face eater arc, or not face eater, but the mountain.
Oh, the
Yes.
spider. The spider.
No.
No, the one who's eating all the
training mountain where they all went to do a test
Oh,
to become
yeah.
demon slayers.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that, and then I really loved the last the big fight we were watching between the girl with the Kaminari. right?
Mhm.
I really loved it. And look, honestly, I think the only thing that could make me dislike it at this point would just be like a drop in quality so severe that like
I can tell you, as far as production quality goes, no, it won't drop.
no story and characterization. Like if the characters just kind of like shit the fucking bed.
Do you know what the next arc is called?
No.
The Spider Mountain arc.
I don't have a problem with look. I have arachnophobia, right? That's the joke you're making. I have
Yeah.
arachnophobia. I can watch So I'm a Spider, so like I watched So I'm a Spider, so what? I didn't like the demon mother thing, whatever. But I watched So I'm a Spider, so what? I've watched other things with. I can't watch The Hobbit or Harry Potter movie number 2.
And you're
You
always
have a point.
wincing like in the 5 seconds of Witcher when it starts. So I'm curious to see what parts you're actually going to be able to physically watch.
I was gonna say you have a point.
Yeah.
Will this be an approval on it sounded good?
Look, it might be. There's entirely a chance. I have a bad habit of like, if I'm afraid of something while I'm watching it, I will like put my phone up in front of my face so I can't actually see what's happening on screen and just listen to the noises. So I'll clarify if I had to do that for anything after we finish watching.
You might be fine.
But I mean, at the same point, like, there's a difference between watching an animated spider monster on screen and watching something that's like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, like supposed to be like a photorealistic giant spider coming at me on a 3D screen 60 feet across.
I can predict at least one scene where you're just going to nope out and you're going to like try to shield it from your memory. But I won't say it here. We'll get to it in this.
Does it
chapter.
involve eggs?
I can't remember.
I don't remember either. And
I think Realm knows what scene I'm talking about, though. Maybe.
Yes, I think so. I think
So,
I know. I think I
yeah.
have the idea.
Tune in next time to figure out whether or not Sekhie's been scarred for life. Try harder, everyone.